Welcome to Black Tribe and Money Vibes, a Black Table podcast about all things events, entrepreneurship, ownership, work-life balance, love, wealth, and collaboration in the Black community. Channeling your confidence.
Yes.
Cheers. Ooh, this is going to be a good one. Because you kind of have to be real about it, right? Like, obviously, we are not always 100% our best selves at all times, especially in business. You could be having a bad day. You could have a breakup. You could have all these things happening. And you have to go into a meeting. You have to sell your business yourself. And sometimes these dollar amounts are a lot of stake. A lot of stake. But not only that, not only with business, but in life. Like, how do you actually build authentic confidence? Yeah. Because I feel like that is so key to be like a flourishing woman, an adult, and business person, right? Yeah. But my journey with confidence has been a little crazy, like most other things in my life. Do you guys feel that you've always been the confident woman that you are? Have you ever had issues with confidence? Because I see 4 beautiful, successful women, and nobody would ever think, that there was ever a time that you didn't feel that way. And I know for me, confidence is something that I definitely faked for a really, really long time. And then I found authenticity in it. And when I did that, it was like, you just settle in. And then you just, you feel like the pilot, of your plane. So how do you guys feel? Have you ever had any issues with it? What's your confidence journey?
Okay, so for me, I feel like how we built, for me, our business is a part of it was my confidence. And I didn't even know that I was doing it. I was just interacting and engaging with people. So it was a very human experience. And that was okay for me. Like, I liked it. I loved it. I would connect with people and I would say I like this. I don't like that. So I wasn't at that time thinking about confidence. Because I was comfortable with what was happening at the beginning of our business. But it came to a point where I didn't know what was happening with the business. And then I became not so confident. And then I had to figure out oh my gosh, what am I doing? How do I elevate? Do I need to learn? Do I need to structure? Do I need to organize? And that's when I saw a dip in my confidence. And that actually lasted probably for a little bit of time, longer than I would have liked. Because I learned through experiences and I wasn't gaining the experience that I needed to make my confidence rise where I wanted it to, because I'm seeing all these successful people where they are, they were already where they should be at that time. Right. And I was like, what? Okay, they don't know, but I know. I'm not really feeling this. I'm not communicating how I should. And it took a dip in my confidence in the background. I just didn't show it because I knew how not to show it. But then in the background, I was like, what do I do? And it was hard. And I feel like every level you get to, you go through that same experience. So I got comfortable, basically being uncomfortable. Because I'm I'm not going to be the confident person. And maybe that person's not confident either, but we're all being here and we're present and we're playing the game.
Yes.
So I just got okay with it.
That's so true about the layers too, because you get confident, you're inconfident, and then you start getting confident, and then there's another tier, and you're like, bloop, now I'm a small fish again.
Now I'm not that person no more.
And then you grow, and then it's bigger and bigger. So it's a constant learning process because you're all constantly elevating. So I understand that.
Yeah.
What about y'all?
I think for me, confidence has been shifted when I compare myself to other people. And so that's something that I've just tried to really focus on not doing, because there's always going to be times where people are doing better than you, and there's always going to be times where people aren't doing as well as you. And so if you build your confidence on the fact that, you're doing better than everybody in your circle, then that's fake, because when you're not doing better than everybody in your circle, then that confidence isn't still there. So I think that you have to just build that authentic confidence wherever that comes from, however you channel that. And I think we'll talk about that a little bit more. But for me, I feel a little bit derailed when I start to compare myself to other people.
Yeah. What do they say? Comparison is the thief to joy.
Yeah. So true.
Yeah. For me, so my journey with confidence, as a kid, teenager, college, extremely confident. You couldn't tell me I couldn't do anything. I did it. No challenge was too big. I didn't even have a sense of fear about anything. extremely, extremely confident. And then I started to experience failure. And that really, like, did a mental thing.
It's devastating.
It's so devastating. And it's especially when you wholeheartedly believe in the decision that you're making. And when it doesn't turn out the way that you think it was going to, it shatters I think it shatters the trust in yourself because you trusted and believed in yourself to make this decision, and it was a failure or was a whatever. And so I think that in my journey as an entrepreneur, that is when I started to like my confidence started to dip. And it's been a process in like getting it back, because now there's times where before I didn't expect failure. I didn't even know what failure was. I was like, oh no, I could do that. Oh no, I can walk in the room and I can get that, and now it's like, well, what if I don't?
Right.
Yeah.
Well, what if this goes wrong? And then so then it makes you shrink. It makes you not believe in yourself. It makes you feel small, and so that's been my process. Is like getting back to who I am.
Right.
Like I know who I am, but along the way, those experiences kind of derail you off your path. And so now it's like, okay, I gotta get back to that person that was fearless and didn't care, or not. I didn't care. I knew.
Yeah.
I had a knowing about myself that kind of took a dip through this entrepreneurial journey.
Right.
And that's why I always say that the journey of being an entrepreneur if you want your faith tested, and if you're a spiritual religious person, this journey is going to test every single thing about who you are at your core. But it's rewarding because when you come out on the other side of it, you're like, I made it through, and then
Your
that
faith
in
is
itself
stronger.
is a confidence builder.
Yeah.
Is when you make it through some of those failures. So I'm building back.
Building it.
Yes.
Building.
Yes.
I think too, it was kind of hard for me because I came from a really isolated place and I was homeschooled and I had a lot of positive affirmation, kind of like you. Like there was no negative. I wasn't ever picked on. There was nothing negative that ever happened during my time with other people in the public. And then also my home life was very different. And you have to balance all of those things when you're building your portfolio of yourself, because you might have all the positive affirmation in the world from the outside, and maybe you have something internally that either you've taught yourself or your family situation has taught you that is contradictory to that. So kind of tuning out those voices like you're talking about, it is a constant process no matter where you come from to really, really turn down all the negativity and really, really turn up who you are. And I've always been kind of a weirdo. I feel like I'm kind of the weirdo of this world. No, it's not in a bad way, but like, I have my own path and I have tried to learn to embrace that, but sometimes there's a lot of opposition. Yeah. And I, again, trying to find, again, that authenticity, even if it's different, even if it's weird, is a constant battle.
Yeah.
Constantly.
Yeah. I think with talking about confidence and what we've been through with it, what would you guys say is the best way to channel your confidence? Because for me, I would say that when I looked at my confidence and how to channel it, I had to go back to my organic self and what my mom and aunties and people in my family told me about myself before I even knew myself. What did they think about me? Who was I? And then when you start to go through the process of being an entrepreneur, doing your business, so much stuff comes in the way of that. And it's not bad. It's to teach you. It's to to show you who you are now. Yeah. But it could be, also very devastating. Because it's a shock to you to hear about yourself or to see yourself or to go through these experiences. So for me, what I had to channel was, even to this day, as I continue to go through different levels of my entrepreneurship, I had to channel who I originally am, because when I go back to that, I keep getting that, like, everyone loves that. Everyone could connect with that because it's not fake, it's not trying, it's not overly, pushing myself on people. And whenever I get to a new level, whether I'm adding stuff to it, I feel like going back to my organic self and channeling my organic self and connecting and like bringing that growth to it too, like communication, education, trying new things and compiling that into one. That's how I'm best able to like express and like channel that and get people to see me for my true self. So I never want to like get rid of that, and that's what I like figured out at the end of the day. So like, what about you guys?
No, I love that. It reminds me of something that a teacher told me once, and he went around the classroom and he asked, the President of the United States is coming over for dinner, him and all of his family. What are you gonna make for dinner? And people were like, I'm gonna make steak and potatoes because that's very, like, everyone likes that, and I'm gonna make this and that. And then the teacher asked me, and I was like, I'm gonna make gumbo because that's my best dish. And he was like, exactly.
Yes.
Yeah.
You make whatever you are best at, and you let everyone fall in line, right? And I remember thinking it was instinctual because I can't make that many things.
And gumbo's so easy to make.
Oh, it's the hardest thing, right?
Yes,
It's super hard, but I do know how to make it. But it was, so that's why I said that. But the fact that that was the answer back, I was like, oh, got it.
You're being true to yourself.
Exactly. And the thing is, even if they've never had gumbo, and this is obviously all, and it's an analogy, but if they've never had it, they're gonna have the best version that you could give them, and it's gonna be memorable.
Memorable.
Because sometimes being memorable is better than being the best. And I feel like in my life that has always been the case, because I've never felt normal, I've never felt regular, but I'd always just be like, bleh, like the best I could and the prettiest freaking squiggles or whatever I could possibly do. And I think that at least people can resonate with the authenticity so much so that it sticks in their mind. Because steak and potatoes, honey, you do a 15-way side forget it. Gumbo, you never had it. It might be too spicy. I might not have made it right, but you're gonna remember it.
Walk away remembering that.
Yes. So I just think like the quicker you can like clear the noise and do what you do best. And serve it up as best you can. That's it. That's the sauce.
And I think for me, it's just reminding yourself of when you did that, right? So celebrating those wins, celebrating those times where people were just like, you fucking killed that. And not necessarily pulling from what other people say about you, because people are fickle. Like, they can be like, oh, you're great one day and you're not great the other day. But times are you like, true, like, I killed that shit. Right? Like, I killed that wedding, I killed that event, I killed that dinner, I killed that. And just reminding yourself of that, and you're celebrating those wins, and that builds you up. So when you go to do it again and you think, I can't possibly come up with a new design, I can't possibly, do something better, it's like, actually, you did it last week, you did it a month ago, you did it, now you're doing it for clients that had budgets at 100,000 when you used to do it for clients that had 10,000. So celebrate those wins, celebrate moving to those new levels, and that's going to help build up your confidence.
So true.
It is.
I think the way that when my confidence is low and I feel like I need to channel my confidence, I focus on doing really small things that don't require a lot of effort, but that helps to boost my, I guess, confidence, self-esteem, whatever, right?
Building momentum.
So it's like, because it's to your point, celebrating those wins, right? Big or small. That one little thing, it kind of increases the dopamine, right? So you like did it and you're like, oh wow, that was great. Like, it could be a painting, it could be cooking a dish, whatever it is. Like, if I know I need to build my confidence up to do something really, really big, I'll start with these little smaller things, and then I'll feel good about myself, right? I mean, even just like now, like working out, right? Like, okay, quarantine weight. We've all been there. You know, I'm like, okay, this is not me. This is not who I am. Like, okay, let me set a goal to like lose, 15 pounds. And so then it's like, oh, I lost 15 pounds. Okay. All right. So then, it just builds, and it's something small, but now I can take that small thing.
Well, that's big.
Yeah, it's huge.
Yeah.
15 pounds a lot. Like, I mean, not like,
Well, even when I lost the first,
That's a big baby.
right. I mean, when I first lost the first 5 pounds, right?
Yeah.
Or the first 10 pounds. Like, it was like these little small increments to where it was like, oh, okay, now I've lost 15 pounds. And so then it's like, okay, well, now I can go and channel this into something else, right?
Yes.
That helps to just keep building,
Yeah.
and yeah, so I just focus on those little small things that you can do, like to your point, really well, and you could do in excellence, and it doesn't require too much effort where you're going to second guess yourself, you're going to overthink it, you just do it, and you win. So you win, build your confidence up, and then keep going.
On to the next.
Speaking of that, have you guys ever had to like fake it till you make it because you aren't confident in that moment? Just, kind of pumping yourself up because you know that, maybe I can't really do this.
Oh, hell yes. I will say, I think that part of it for me comes from, I'm an adrenaline junkie. So I kind of like just like throwing myself in weird situations and like seeing what happens. And I'm not like a kleptomaniac, but there's something to like.
Did you say kleptomaniac?
No, I'm going somewhere. I'm not a kleptomaniac, but there's something to sometimes that like people that are like that, they just want to see if they can get away with it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I get it. And so that's kind of how I am in certain situations where I'm just like, well, let's just see if they like think I know what I'm talking about, or let's see like if I can make them think that I belong here, know. Yeah. But it comes from a place of like adrenaline more than it does anything else. So I think that has served me, but that's a very nuanced thing because of my own personality.
Right.
I'm not sure how well it works generally, but when you do get that affirmation, you're like, wow, I really got away with that. There's something to some sort of success when you do throw yourself out there that can build authentic confidence, but then you also run the risk of faking it.
Yeah.
Because that's what you're doing.
Yes.
Yeah. Right.
Yes. Okay, so I think like the whole fake it till you make it thing is very, very, very interesting. Because some people do it in a way that is like, do you really have that? Is that really what's happening in your life? But when you put that into like a business aspect, you're going to get business situations that you've never dealt with before.
Yeah.
And I would have to say that like, because one of my teachers is life experiences, I won't say that I've faked it, but I've had to elevate in a situation that I've never experienced before.
Right.
So I would say like one of the biggest events that we had to do within a small time frame. And I would say we were probably crazy because we never had experienced something like that on that level. And that taught me so much in that amount of time very quickly, and it took my confidence and I feel like our business to a whole nother level, because we were like, okay, first of all, regardless if this is faking it at the moment, we can't let anybody down right now.
No.
This is 100% Black excellence. Yeah. So what are we doing? How are we doing this? And so in that moment, because we have never experienced that, I guess it was a little bit of a faking moment, but because we came through so hard on the moment, though, it turned into real life. It turned into a real experience that taught us that if you do that every single time, you're not, you're faking it for a moment.
I don't think we faked it, because we never said that we could do something that we couldn't do.
No, but I'm saying, though, in terms of faking it till you make it, it's an experience for me that you never had before. So that's why I started off by saying, like, people might not have something. They might not be, living a certain lifestyle, and they're faking it. And that's different.
Yeah.
Now, as a business person, when a client comes to you, then you've never experienced it before.
Right.
So it's not that you're faking it, but you're doing something that you've never done before. Right. So if they said to you, have you ever worked with a billionaire before? No. Can you do it? Yes.
Have you ever done it before?
No. Are we going to do it today? Yes. So So in the midst of that, you're still creating an illusion of confidence, of, but if you follow through on it, if you really, really follow through on it, like someone that has a Porsche, but you're leasing it, or you can't really afford it, you're not making the money to do it, you're faking. You're absolutely faking. If you're leasing, but you can afford it, who cares that you're leasing it?
Yeah.
So the fact that in that situation that happened, now it's not faking till you make it. It's you're there and you did it. And now any situation that comes, it builds up your confidence. It builds up your whole situation to now put yourself in another situation of doing it again and again. And it does address the adrenaline situation where you're like, and it's like a fine line of it, because then you can do it.
Right.
And then you kind of want to keep doing it, and so you're
level
not,
up.
You keep wanting to level up, and then you get tired and you're like,
Yeah.
But I love the whole situation of like challenging yourself, and like I feel like it's challenging yourself versus like faking it, unless you can't actually do the job, then you're faking.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, I think you brought up like a really good point, because I think faking it till you make it for like show, for like people, that's completely different. Like,
Right.
Bringing everybody to this big house for a party and they all think that it's your house, but it's actually an Airbnb. Like, that's completely different than like, in business, like maybe you haven't done something before, but you're confident or saying that you can do it and follow through, so that you're building your brand, so that you're getting yourself more exposure, so that you can hire other people behind you to kind of help you and bring you up. Like, that's completely different to me.
Yeah.
So I don't think I've ever been in a situation to where someone thought that I had something that I didn't have. Like, I'll be straight out like, oh girl, I rented this shit. Like, don't be confused. Like, this is a one-time thing. I could not afford this any other day. Like, I'm not out here fronting. But there has been time in business where people are like, oh, can you do this? And I'm like, definitely.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking in my head, bitch, I have no idea how I'm going to do this.
Have you done it? No.
But I will Google, I will call my mentors, I will figure it out. And that's kind of like the faking it till you make it that I think that we need to kind of put to the forefront versus like trying to impress people. Like, that means nothing. Yeah.
I mean, that could honestly be a confidence stealer, right?
Oh,
you know? So if you're like out here and you're just focused on, faking it till you make it in appearances, at the end of the day, you got to go home and you got to sit with yourself and you got to look at yourself in the mirror. You got to know you don't have any of that.
Yeah.
So really, it can like rob you of your confidence.
So true.
When you kind of take that approach, but there is that fine line. I mean, I did commercial real estate for 7 years, and when I first started, I drove a Toyota Corolla, and the guys were like, yeah, so you need to get a new car. And I was like, why? I like my car.
Yeah.
It's reliable. Good on gas. I'm a college student. You know what I mean?
What Toyota told you to say. No, sorry.
It really was a reliable car. It never broke down on me. Gas mileage was amazing. I'm a college student. I'm freaking 22 years old, right? So I'm like, I'm good with my car. And they're like, no, you have your real estate license and you're now a commercial real estate agent. Yeah. So you need to go get a luxury vehicle. Because when you go to show a warehouse, 30,000 square foot warehouse, and you pull up in a Toyota Corolla, you're not going to close that deal.
Interesting.
And I was like, okay. So then, got BMW.
Yeah.
Could barely afford the car note. But what it did do, though, was I would show up to a building and I would, and the perception was, oh, she must be able to close deals. Right. And I would close the deal.
Successful.
And then it would eventually.
Oh.
So I think.
So guess what? You could afford the BMW now after that.
So then I could afford the BMW after that. So I think when you're faking it till you make it in that sense, like that, you have to have discernment and understanding what is going to actually be a return if you're gonna present a persona, and if that persona that you're presenting is going to like bring you more money, build up your confidence, then yes, I'm all for faking it till you make it. But if it is going to be something where it is actually going to drain you and pull from you, and you have to go home and look at yourself in the mirror and be like, I am not this person, and I'm not, I don't know who I am, because people get lost in that. Then, you can look up and then absolutely have nothing, and all your confidence is shattered because you're not living your true authentic self.
Yeah.
And that is so LA. I'm sorry.
So LA.
All these people out here.
So LA.
Like, oh
and
my
so
God.
social media.
Now it's trickled into other
So
things.
social media.
Yeah.
You just see the same, you scroll down your feed and it's the same stuff. Same cars, same bags, same shoes, same purses, same this, same that. And you're just like,
Or,
doesn't quite add up.
You know what I would say? You know what I would say is like faking it till you make it is such a very interesting dynamic, because you can fake it till you make it, but if you do not execute on really what you're faking, it doesn't matter. And so you still become the statistic.
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
You still become that, and people are looking at you like, oh, okay, you're cute. You didn't even do what you said. So like going back into social media and doing all that stuff, like that is all great. But then if you appear in person and you don't look like who you are, or if you don't talk like who you are, it takes you on a whole nother path, and you're not going to get to where you should get, to me, in my opinion.
No, that's exactly what I was going to say. Like,
Yeah.
the first part is faking it, but the other part is making it. So, like, you can fake it, but then go make it.
Yeah.
Part two.
Yeah, you got to fake it to make
Present
it.
yourself as whatever you're trying to present yourself as.
Yeah.
That's the faking it part. But then actually go and make it. So if you can't do what you initially said that you can do, if you're acting like you have something that you don't have, actually go do the work to make
it
a real thing.
Yeah, so believable. It has to be believable if you're doing that. Yeah.
And I can appreciate someone too, like after your story that you just said. I had a Toyota Scion that I bought when I was 21. I had it forever. Like I have a Lexus now, but it's like I did not care. I just didn't care. And I also didn't care when I rolled up to meetings, contrary to what you said. And I rolled up in it. I just didn't, I don't know, I'm a very humble person, and I just didn't care. It just like wasn't on my radar. And so it's like, it's so much more important that you bring the juice within yourself than it is about anything else, because you can change someone's mind. They must be like, oh, that must be her little brother's car. That's so cute that she you can literally change someone's mind.
She wants an eco-friendly car.
Right.
Like, who cares?
Yes, that's her second, third, fourth car. People would think that if you bring the juice before they will think, So work on yourself first, because you can sell anything. I'm telling you, if you got it, you could sell anything.
You got it.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's just not even
so
a thing.
true. It is so true.
So we talked about faking it till you make it, and how to channel our confidence. How do you guys like hype yourself up? Like you got a big meeting or you got a big deal on the line that's like worth millions of dollars, and you have to like bring your A game, confident, no fear, no second guessing yourself. Self to the table. Like, so how do you hype yourself up in those situations? How do you hype yourself up just in every day, just to get out of the goddamn bed?
I mean, for me, it's
especially during a pandemic.
too short. For me, it's too short. Like,
with my favorite word.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, I will roll up to a meeting like playing Too Short right until I'm about to get into a parking lot, and then I will turn it down.
Too Short, you gonna come talk about it with us?
Love Too Short.
Too Short is absolutely one of the smartest people.
Yes.
I promise you, he's so smart.
I
Like,
love him. Literally love him. So, like, nobody can tell me nothing, like, after I listen to Too Short. Like, I can do fucking brain surgery. Like, exactly. So, let me listen to Too Short all the way there, and I am hype and I'm ready to go.
I love it. Music is such a good way to channel your confidence and to hype yourself up, because when you put on the right song, you're like, oh, I can take over the world. I can take over the world. Music is energy. Music is energy. And so when that energy comes into you, and it's very transformative. That's a good one.
We played some Nipsey before a couple of these.
Yes.
Before a couple of these episodes. We got to channel some Nipsey.
okay, so I would say that people could, like, especially when you're going into these really big meetings or you're you know, talking about certain contracts and money, people could read you when you go into their space, or vice versa if they come into your space. So for me, one thing that I've learned is to bring your passion. Bring your passion to whatever it is that you're doing, regardless if someone's looking or not looking, because they are, even if they act like they're not. And so I feel like if you bring your passion and like, you might not even feel like it that day. You really don't. So you might need to put on your Too Short and your E40 and your Snoop Dogg and like, you know, we're on the West, so we just gonna keep it West. But you know what I mean? Whatever you need to do that. But if you take your true authentic self and like put the passion behind it, like the real reason why you're there, people feel that. And so they might not even think you're the best, you know, person or business or brand or whatever for the job, but they know that you could do it because what you brought into the room is something that they were looking for, and no one else brought that. They were very technical or logical or didn't have, like, you know, the swag or whatever it was to capture a room or an audience. And at the end of the day, they want to make sure that what you have is able to capture audience.
Right.
So if you bring that and you're passionate and they see that your work ethic is what they need, then it aligns. And so that's what I feel, you know, just go in there and bring your best foot. Don't be scared in the moment, and seize the moment.
Yes.
You know?
Oh, yeah. I agree 100%. And I used to do like a lot of performances and a lot of public speaking when I was younger, like, you know, high school, college age. Mm-hmm. And one of the big things for me, like truly when it comes down to it, like breathing is a really good confidence builder. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Like my dad taught me this, it's just like so random, but it's like 7 seconds in, hold for 14, 7 seconds out. And that will freaking zen you out in a way that makes you feel like it's just talking, it's just walking, it's just presenting, you're just talking to another human.
I'm so glad you said
No, yes, that's one of the big ones. It's been huge for me. So sometimes, like, I will create an alter ego. We were talking about Beyonce and Sasha Fierce and all that, but like, I have alter egos that I will call in. Sometimes you gotta call them in.
You gotta call them in.
Handle it today.
What am I supposed to do right now?
Yes. One of the biggest contracts that I have. With Coachella, there was a meeting that I had, and they were talking about money, and it was a big money conversation. And I was helping out the girl that was heading it, and I could tell she was very nervous. So I tried to do the breathing thing. It wasn't coming, you know, it wasn't resonating with her. And I was like, all right, let's do some warrior stances. And she was like, yes. And you just sit there and you just make yourself big. In private,
it's
obviously.
yoga.
You could go in the bathroom. You could go to the bathroom yourself and make yourself so big. Put your chest out and you channel whatever you want. God, the ancestors, yourself, Pumas,
whatever.
Black Panthers.
Yes, like whatever you need to do. And you just let them lead. Sometimes you just have to call on something higher than yourself to get you through. But it is you. And I truly believe that it is you. It's just the mental game of getting it into your body. Integrating it into your body. Key.
Oh, that goes into just being in tune and being energetic to what is actually happening. And, you know, some people want to go outside of themselves to find what that is. And a little part of it is, yes, you do need to go a little bit out of yourself, but to bring yourself back to who you truly are. So like if you, like you said, take that deep breath, you're actually connecting with what's going to show you how to deliver what you should deliver. And I believe that so truly. And it's not about being so technical all the time.
No.
It's not being so, like, why are we being so technical? Why don't we just be who we are? And if they fit with us, then we fit. And if they don't, they don't. And it does take a certain point in your career to get there. But when you do, you can't go back the other way.
And then they're paying you for that.
When
you show them that energy, they pay you for that. They go to you because nobody else gives them what you can give them. But
and I think to that point, the way that I hype myself up is, so I believe in the power of your subconscious mind, right? So back to my first point, when I was younger, I had extreme high amounts of confidence, right? And I was constantly told by my parents, like, there's only one you, you're beautiful, you're powerful, you're like constant affirmations about who I was. You are a daughter of a king, you're a daughter of a queen. Like, you couldn't tell me I could not do anything in this world I knew I could do. I knew I could do. Like, period.
So beautiful.
So then, you go through this process of failures and people telling, or, comparison, or all the things that we've talked about that kind of like deflate your confidence. And so how I hype myself up now, music is one of them. And then I also, to our lovely Cornelius that's here on set with us today. Shout out to Cornelius. But one of the things that we were talking about before we started filming was affirmations. And that is something that I really do practice like wholeheartedly, because I understand the reprogramming of your subconscious mind. So if you tell your subconscious mind something enough, it will believe it. And then you will feel it, and then you will act it. So if I'm constantly telling because now I don't have my mom and dad telling me every single day, you're a daughter of a king, you're a daughter of a queen. I got it, so now I have to do that for myself. I have to constantly tell myself. Mirror work, we talked about that. And I started doing that.
Oh, so intense. So
it is intense. It is intense. And then there's days where I can't because I can't handle it.
Right.
But like to look at yourself in the mirror and tell yourself, I love you.
Yes.
And believe it.
No, and over and over. You see, at first you don't believe it.
You don't. That's so true.
At first, there's
you just have to
you
get to the
cannot
point,
believe it.
too.
You look at yourself in the mirror and you're like, I love you. I love you.
Yep.
No, I love you.
Yep.
I love you.
Getting chills.
I love you. I love you. And then it just
You get it.
you just start to break down. And then you're like, no, but I love you.
Yeah.
I love
For
you.
real. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
you know what I
Right.
mean?
Yeah.
And then that it starts to seep in so deep. And then you walk into a room and people are like, you're glowing. And you're like,
Duh.
I've worked on
because
this.
I love me and now I
Yeah.
believe in me. Am I confident? So that mirror work is something, thank you for that conversation, because I was just like, I had tried to do it years ago and I was just like, I wasn't ready.
Don't be surprised if you break down crying the first time you do it.
It's so transformative. I think it even changes like your like DNA or something. You know, like
it does.
Like
It changes your vibrational.
the water
Yes.
Yeah.
It
thing,
changes
right?
your
So like
vibration.
the water that you tell it's ugly, like those become very spiky crystals. Like if you put it under magnifying glass, and then the water that you're like, it's beautiful, and you're telling that every single day, then it's like these bright crystals. Like the shit is changing me, like for real, and I feel it, you know.
Yeah.
And so, I feel like those are some of the things that I've been doing to just like hype myself up, especially during this pandemic. I had a rough pandemic. I was having panic attacks. I was crying every single day. I was depressed. There were days I couldn't get out of bed. I questioned my entire existence. And now it's just like, I love me.
Oh my gosh. Now I'm actually, transitioning into someone different. And I I begin my day with my new self of like, okay, I gotta meditate, I gotta pray, I gotta like lay down the foundation of who I am going forward. And so after I do that, even if I had to take Blaze to pee, my dog. I gotta take Blaze to pee. I gotta go back in and I gotta go back to meditation and prayer and then that like grounds me to feel like I'm gonna conquer the world.
Yes.
And like that's how I hype myself up. And nothing's gonna change that. I gotta get back on my exercise and I will.
Right. Yes. But that's life. It's ebbs and flows.
Use those as little building blocks to build your confidence. But I had a question for you guys. And maybe I know the answer now that I'm about to ask it, but where do you think the lack of confidence comes from? So, you see little kids, right? Little kids are running around happy, making decisions all day long. They don't give a darn about anything, They're like, I want to play with this toy. I'm going to build this building block. Like, and they're just,
I can fly.
I can do whatever, right?
Yeah.
And then what happens?
Life.
That's people. That's a good one. Because I feel like when you're young like that, your tribe, they allow you to be that. Oh, go ahead, do that, do that. Yo, even jump off the couch. You shouldn't be jumping off the couch. Do it, Superman. You know what I mean? Like you're pumping the kid up. You're just living your best life with the kid. But then it comes a point in a certain time where society tells you, you're talking
You're
too
not
much.
good enough.
You're doing too much.
Yeah.
You're trying too hard.
Yep.
Oh, why don't you take this in class? Why don't you do this? And I feel like that starts to imbalance who you truly are, and then your self-esteem starts to break down because maybe you were quiet, but your quietness could have led to something else. Maybe you're loud, but that could lead to something else. And people are always telling you what you should and shouldn't do.
Right.
Are there like what they had, what they experienced, what they have dealt with, they're putting that on you. And it's not necessarily negative. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
It's not negative. They just want better for you. And
yep.
so, you know, my dad, like, worked for UPS for 45 years. And, you know, so ideally he would be like, yes, you guys should go into a 9-to-5 and you're going to make sure that all of your health insurance is taken care of. And when all three of us said, okay, we're going to start our own businesses, I'm sure he was just like, and not that he didn't think we would be successful, but he's just like, this is tried through and through. Like, you know, that's what it is. And so I think adults just, they don't want the people that are around them, or they've been jaded and things have fell for them, and they're just like, well, don't do that. Like, how many times have people told, you're opening up a wine bar? What? Restaurant business isn't a business you should get into. And, you know, especially now, it's COVID. Exactly. And, oh, you budgeted this much for construction? Well, you know it's going to be higher than this. Well, that's your experience. That's what you've taken in. But that's not my experience.
We're going to drink wine today.
Yes.
So I think it's just other people's experience. And if you hear time and time and time again, it
has an effect.
It's going to take a toll on you. Unless you have tools to prevent that.
And I think that's why it's so important to, like, I think you might have mentioned your tribe, or it might have been you, like having your tribe to be able to like lean on to help you during those times where you might not be able to. We're not going to always be strong. We're not going to always know how to figure this out. And so being able to, you know, call up Lauren and Lauren tell you amazing things about yourself.
Call me. I
was like, wait, girl, what?
I can't tell you, but I will.
Right? Like, no, but I mean, just being able to have your tribe, and I think that's the beautiful thing about the Black Table, and just being able to have like-minded people within your circle that you can like call on, and that you that see gifts in you that you don't see in yourself, and that can help pull those out just by even telling you, like saying, "Girl, did you know that you're so this and this and that?" And you're like, "Really? Oh, shoot. Okay, I can do it." You know, and so find your tribe, find the people that you can pull on during those times when you might not be strong enough, especially during what we're going through. Because this is like, you know, this is really wearing on people and like affecting people, their mental health. You know, a good therapist is also another thing that you can do to help channel and like pump yourself up, you know, like, you know, giving you those tools of like how to like pull that out of you, you know? So,
I mean, honestly, just while we're talking about tribes, what's funny is I would say, you know, we've had our business, 12 years or whatever. So through that, we've like cultivated certain relationships and certain people in our lives. And at some point we said, we're not working with these type of people. We're not doing these type of things. Like, it's just not going to happen. We don't care how much that like slows down the growth or the process or whatever, but we're not going to do it. And so like today when I look up and I see like my whole tribe, like of people that I like love and that are now either business partners or associates or friends or whatever they are in my life, but they're my tribe, that gives me so much energy.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, these people have made it to certain levels, and because I know them organically and like truly, I know what they've been through. Right. So when I wake up and I say like, what am I doing today? Like, how am I feeling? I'm like, damn, these people doing all the same shit. I need to pull myself up. I need to get up. So, like, your tribe is so important. Like, those words that she's giving you, or if I need to call her, or do we need to do whatever, and we, at the end of the day, start thinking about what our tribe is doing and what they've accomplished, it makes you really take a second and be like, girl, yeah, that's my thing. That's where I'm at.
I just have one more thing to say when you were talking about what takes away confidence, and we were talking about childhood and all that. You know, I have like an extensive background in trauma and healing, and that's like the thing I know best, truly. And one thing that I've learned, and this is Carl Jung is a psychiatrist, famous psychiatrist, and he has this work that he calls shadow work. And what it is basically is that you, as a child, you learn certain things. So let's say I'm a very sensitive and emotional child, and my parents say, you're never going to survive on this earth if you do not stop. And I learned to bury that, and I bury that deep inside myself, deep in my shadow. So here's
I
your
got
light.
chills.
Light is God, right? Ego, what you build. So I learned, this is what I learned. My ego says, okay, crying is weakness.
Yeah.
That's my ego.
Yeah.
So I put it in the shadow.
Yeah.
And when you get older, you have to undo all of that.
Yes.
But what you have to do is you have to face yourself. And Carl Jung says it's like facing the devil. Because everything that you hate, everything you judge in the world, it's you, because we're all God and we are all everything. I don't want to get too crazy and deep, but it's true.
Yeah.
So when you see something and you're like, I hate that, it's because you were taught to hate that
in yourself
first.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so when you go to retrieve that, you have to look at yourself and something that you hate.
Yeah.
But what happens is when you can actually dig deep and you can reclaim everything in your shadow, not only do you find this extreme and blissful self-love, but there's so much power in all of that. Crying, for example, just to go back to that, is one of the most healing and cleansing modalities that you could, it's in your body, and it just flushes everything out, right? And that is something that I was taught not to cry. I learned not to cry by the time I was 3. And so to revisit that and to regain that, you'll find that there are superpowers in that. So if you were a dancer and you were flamboyant and you were this and that, and you came from blue collar whatever, and they said, it's not going to make you survive, and you integrate that, you see it, you adapt to it, you integrate that. Tapping back into that is going to bring you your confidence and your joy, because that is you, that is your frequency, that is what you're supposed to be.
And the people around you should enhance that.
They should, but there's so much around us as children, and we're also very reliant on our caregivers. Because children, like, you have to be like 3 years old before you could even like pick a berry and eat it and like survive in the wilderness. They're very dependent. So it's very understandable that we shape our egos in that way, but you must undo it. And when you undo it and you face yourself, honey, I can literally cry.
And you know, another way to, I don't know what this is called. I just remember doing it, or going through this process of doing it, is visualizing yourself, your younger self,
your child self,
and whatever it is that you feel is like a block in you having confidence in something, going back to your little girl self, and that.
That's inner child work.
I don't know. It's not to describe it. But really, going back to that little girl and saying, Mina, no, you got this. You can do this. No matter what happens in life, believe that you can do this. And giving your younger self a hug and embracing her and letting her feel safe and know, like, because again, it's going back to that trauma of, at some point that you got broken, but by someone telling you something, and it could be something as small as you didn't write that right,
or use your right hand versus your left hand.
That
whole thing, it could be a million.
It could be so many little things, but then going back and just telling her, you love her, she's gonna be okay, she can accomplish anything. That's been transformative for me as well. And being able to like just remember, remember who you are, and that you can really do anything. And all of this outside noise, just figuring out how to silence it. And there's so many different ways to be able to tap in, but it's a lot of spiritual work, it's a lot of inner work, it's a lot of self-belief, and then that's internally, and then externally it's you might have to fake it till you make it. It's finding your tribe, and it's looking good so you can feel good. It's eating right and working out and all that stuff,
Yes. So I would say for the show up and show out, it's us. And the reason why that I say that it's us is because this,
Finally made the cut.
We made the cut, ladies. And the reason why I say that is because through, pandemics and all of that, we took the moment to say that we're going to create a podcast. And we did it. We executed. We thought about it. We visualized it. We were in it. We became like sisters and friends and like, Sex in the City vibe.
Yes.
But with a little flair to it. But so I say that it's us that showed up and showed out. And if we can't do that for ourselves, how are we going to tell other people? And how are we going to say other people did it?
I love it.
So I would just say thank you to all you guys for just like being a part of this and for us really staying committed.
I think this calls for a celebration.
Yes. Okay, I'm about to pop this bottle. Y'all ready?
Yes.
Oh, thank you.
Yes. Oh, we finished. I can't even believe it. Actually, like it's just
I
hitting me
know.
right
I
now.
know.
Look at that.
Cheers.
Cheers to Lauren.
Yes.
And
for
Collective
cheers.
Rentals.
Yes.
Because
All of
I mean,
this.
all of this.
Yes.
All of
The
this.
whole studio.
The whole studio
furniture,
space.
the lighting,
Yes.
everything. You know, full on turnkey
Production.
podcast production. And
Yeah.
like amazing.
Yes.
We're just scratching the surface with this, you know?
Yes.
Yeah, we gotta bring
We
y'all in.
scratched
Yeah.
it. We're trying to see what the audience is talking about, right? Like we want feedback. We want you to DM us. We want you to comment. We want you guys to tell us like what topics you want to hear us talk about, what guests you might even want us to, you know.
Yes.
So y'all tap in.
Tap in.
Hey.
Hey, until next time, y'all.
Until next time. Cheers.
Thanks for joining us this week on Black Tribe and Money Vibes. You can follow us on social media at @thebblacktable_ and check out our website, thebblacktable.co. If you love the show, please give us a rating on iTunes so we can continue to give you episodes you love. Thanks for listening and see you next time.